Hey, what's going on, everyone? Seventh RD Ramont Kohaya, Kingdom of Heaven is at hand, here with another video. This one is entitled The Cloud. You know, as I sit here in my office on this day, the Gregorian calendar day of January the 1st, in this Gregorian calendar year of 2024, and some may be recovering from a night of dancing and celebrating, maybe some hotel room, rented out hotel room, or some other venue, VFW hall, or some place that was designated and set aside for such celebrations. Others may have been in a club or some type of venue where they too danced the night away in observance of Janus, the god of portals and open doors and passageways. And others celebrated at an assembly, a church, where they praised God in conjunction with praising Janus, that god that looks both ways into the past and future. Some probably was at home and they probably, celebrated with family and friends. Yet and still, this is the Gregorian calendar year of 2024. And as we move through this Gregorian calendar year, we must understand that it is extremely important for us to recognize this subject matter, the cloud. You know, the cloud is synonymous with our walk with the Most High. It's synonymous with our Hebraic culture. As a matter of fact, the cloud and Hebrews goes hand in hand. They work together. The cloud is a representation of the Father's dealings with his people and with his creation. The cloud is a type and figure of guidance and insight and direction. It's important for us to know and to recognize, because some may know but fail to observe in their life the protection that has been warranted by the Most High for you and me, and all those who choose to cleave to the people whom this truth was handed to. You know, as I watched the various celebrations on television, and I noticed the people in church, how they tried to bring a certain element of spiritual vibration and frequency in their assembly, all to no avail. Something was missing. It's the same as those who celebrated in various venues around the country and around the world. People were trying to force the spirit that once resided with these celebrations in the past. But we understand that the essence of those celebrations have faded away. It's not the same. Something is different. It's because the Most High, when he told us in Luke that there would be a time for the Gentiles and a time that would be allotted for them to rule and reign in the kingdoms of men, that time had an expiration date. Daniel, he spoke of it when he interpreted a dream, the vision. And he spoke and he said that the Most High, he gives the kingdom to whomever. And once he allow whatever ethnicity and whatever group that he chooses to hand the kingdom over, there is a day where it must be taken away. And so what we have today, brothers and sisters, Even though people try to make things like they were in the past, and they finding it extremely difficult and outright impossible to achieve. It's because these celebrations and these gods and these worshipful ways that men of each kingdom concocted and erected before the people, like I forestated, they have an expiration date. And so we must understand, that the Father is bringing to its conclusion this kingdom, and this society we in is coming to its conclusion. So all the celebrations and all of the observances that are associated with this society, as their time fades, so will their celebrations and observances fade. They will fade along with their time. As I say often in my videos, when the Most High inspired Paul to write, the invisible things of him are clearly seen. The invisible things of the Most High are clearly seen. They are manifested, brothers and sisters. You can find that in Romans 1:20. We can see all around us that something is diminishing, that things are changing. Things are not the same. There are transitions that's happening right before our eyes. What may seem hidden, they are clearly seen in the daily activities and all of the goings on that we experience through our own little viewfinder. We see that things are shifting. And it's a beautiful thing, because these changes, these transitions are happening as an indicator for us, the children of light, to understand that restoration is happening along with these transitions. So I was moved to talk about the cloud. This cloud that I want to speak of is not the clouds that we see in the sky, although these clouds are indicators of what is occurring in the spiritual realm and in the lives of the covenant people. The clouds that we see in the sky and the atmosphere are nothing but drops of water, vapors and gases that are suspended in the air. And these gases and vapors and drops of water, they are invisible to the naked eye. But they are all around us, and we all know that water is the essence of life. We live and survive off of water because our body is made of high percentage of water, mostly water than anything else. So it's indicative of the clouds that's in the sky, that's in the atmosphere, in comparison to the cloud that I'm talking about here in Scripture. Clouds, they represent protection in Scripture and in the life of the Hebrew Israelite, the covenant people. It represents safety and security, but also guidance. In Exodus, the 40th chapter rather, and the 34th verse, this is a time when the children of Israel had left Egypt and they were released from their bondage. The Father delivered them. These are our foreparents. And you see in Exodus, the 40th chapter and the 34th verse, it reads, "Then a cloud covered the tent of the congregation, and the glory of Yah filled the tabernacle. And Moses was not able to enter into the tent of the congregation because the cloud abode thereon. And the glory of Yah filled the tabernacle. And when the cloud was taken up from over the tabernacle, the children of Israel went onward in all their journeys. But if the cloud were not taken up, then they journeyed not until the day that it was taken up. For the cloud of Yahuwah was upon the tabernacle by day, and fire was on it by night, in the sight of all the house of Israel throughout all their journeys. Man, that is powerful. The cloud was with our ancestors. The cloud was there as a symbolism of the presence of the Most High. And in his presence, there is nothing that can overthrow the Most High and whatever region that he resides. All must vanish, all must leave, all must stand afar off. Those whom this cloud is ministering to, it's untouchable. They are untouchable. They are undefeatable or indestructible. When you look at Exodus, the 14th chapter and the 24th verse. And it came to pass that in the morning watch, Yahweh looked unto the hosts of the Egyptian through the pillar of fire and of the cloud, and troubled the host of the Egyptians. 25. He caused their chariot wheels to wobble, so that they had difficulty driving. Let us flee from the Israelites, said the Egyptian, for Yah is fighting for them against Egypt. Through this cloud, brothers and sisters, we see warfare is going on. This is why I say it is very important for us to understand the essence and the functionality of the cloud that is before the children of the Most High. Yeah, you know, in Psalm 105, verse 8, it says, he hath remembered his covenant forever. This is agreement. It says that he remembered his covenant forever. His covenant, his agreement, his promise to the covenant people. And when we have established, all of us Hebrew Israelites, we have established who the children of the Most High are. There is no question. Everybody got a culture. Everybody has an origin, except for us. Why? Because Hebrews 13:14 says we have no continuing city. You might as well come to grips, because all creation is witnessing and testifying to the fact of who we are. It's just time for us to understand that you cannot run, you can no longer run from this truth that is being established. As it says in Isaiah, I can't remember which chapter, but Isaiah said, truth have fallen in the street and justice is far off. Why? Because the covenant people were in captivity. The covenant people were in subjugation and oppressed. And so the people whom the Father did not give this agreement, this contract, this covenant, this promise to, they took it upon themselves, as we read in the place, I think in Hebrews, the same chapter, Hebrews, and check it out, Hebrews. The book of Hebrews is a book that's written exclusively to us. But in Hebrews, it say, no man taketh this honor unto himself. I think the 5th chapter, but must be called of the Most High, denoting that the Gentiles, white people, they didn't have the authorization to take this upon themselves. That's why the whole world is in confusion right now. And that's why their celebrations and all their observances are diminishing. It doesn't have the same kick and thrust that it had in the past. Why? Because their expiration date is vastly approaching. But Psalm 105 and verse 8, it reads, He hath remembered his covenant forever. It's just ain't temporary. It's forever. It's perpetual. It's everlasting. Even though we, the covenant people who are in this agreement, in this contract, we forsook the covenant. Guess what? The Most High didn't. Therefore, we had to bear the responsibilities and the consequences for forsaking the covenant. As it says in Hosea 3:2. He said, you only have I known of all the families in the earth. He's talking to the Israelites. You only. Not German, not Poland, not people from Russia, not the people that's occupying the land, that little strip in Israel, not Hamites, not Nigerians, or any form of Europeans or Asian. You only have I known out of all the families in the earth. Then he went on to say, therefore I will punish you. He punished us. We the only one that the whole world knows without a shadow of a doubt that we were under a curse and punishment. They try to hide it now. They try to do away with it now. Just the other day when our politician, Nikki Haley, who's running for the presidency, a president hopeful, she tried to undermine and, try to brush and sweep slavery up under the rug. Have you noticed every other cultural group, they remember the atrocities that happened to them. But when it comes to us, they tell us to let bygones be bygones. Because people know who we are. Why? Because this covenant is everlasting, like it says here in Psalm 105 and verse 8. Let me read it again. He hath remembered his covenant forever, the word which he commanded to 1,000 generations. 1,000 generations. That means generation after generation after generation. All cultures and ethnicities and groups of people will come in and be given the chance to take their best shot at his covenant people. But it's perpetual. They can't do nothing. Why? Because of the cloud. And we move on down to verse 39 and explains it. I'm not going to read the whole chapter, Psalm 105. You can read it. I'm just touching on this because I'm trying to bring out the nuances of this topic, this subject matter, the cloud. But when you go to the 39th verse of 105 of Psalm, it reads, he spread a cloud for a covenant and fire to give light in the night. Who did he do it for? He did it for these people that he talked about in the 8th verse. The covenant people that have a covenant forever. What did he do? He spread a cloud. So what did this cloud do? It fought for us on our behalf, as I stated, where Pharaoh's army tried to pursue us, but guess what? The cloud and the pillar of fire, it denotes protection. It's an unbridled force, brothers and sisters, and it's for us. We just read in Psalm 105. We the covenant people, and he allowed a cloud to pursue and protect us. This cloud, this covenant, this agreement is forever. So that means even today, we have that protection. Today, brothers and sisters. This is very encouraging. The cloud. So the cloud has multiple designations and illustrations in this Hebraic connotation, brothers and sisters. The cloud is even protecting us today. But it's protecting us from, it's protecting us from the armies and their sophisticated weaponries, just like it did in Exodus, the 14th chapter and the 24th verse. They said, we can't fight against this. That's not just for then, it's today. Let me read it again. Exodus 14. Let's start at verse 23. And the Egyptians chased after them all, Pharaoh's horses, chariots, and horsemen, and followed them into the sea. At the morning watch, however, Yahuwah looked down on the armies of the Egyptians from the pillar of fire and cloud. I'm talking about this cloud, brothers and sisters. It's very important for us to understand this cloud. In this Gregorian calendar of 2024, it's just another day that Yahuwah has kept us. Our new year, it starts in the spring, not in the dead of winter. Nonetheless, it's neither here nor there. The cloud is still with us as it was back in the day. This is what the writer of Psalm 105 was referring to. He said he kept the cloud in these people that's got a perpetual, everlasting covenant, brothers and sisters. Check out verse 24 again. At the morning watch, however, Yahweh looked down on the army of the Egyptians from the pillar of fire and cloud, and he threw their camp into confusion. From the cloud, he confounded the enemy and all of their sophisticated weapons. That's why I say today, we are not destroyed. Today, we are preserved. They can't do what they want to do to us. Why? Because they know through us their blessings flow. If they utterly cut us off, if they had the might and the power, which they don't because we got the cloud, but if they did have the power and the might, they would still be leery of utterly destroying us because they know if they do that, all of their blessings and all of the benefits that they have reaped and enjoyed through our captivity would end instantly. So therefore, they only destroy a few of us and preserve the rest. They think they slick, but their time of enjoying a few and preserving other few and destroying the others, those activities and the time that's been allotted for them to enjoy all that has an expiration date. Verse 25 of Exodus 14th chapter. He caused their chariot wheels to wobble so that they had difficulty driving. And I look at what they said. Let us flee from the Israelites, said the Egyptians, for Yahuwah is fighting for them against Egypt. Today we in the modern day Egypt, bondage. We still in bondage, aren't we? They still got us this day in captivity, as it says in the Apocrypha. I think it's the book of Baruch or Sirach. I can't remember. But I know it says that you are this day in captivity. Let me type it. Let me see. Let me put this day in captivity. Apocrypha. Yeah, Baruch. I was right. Baruch 3:8. It says, behold, we are yet this day in our captivity, where thou hast scattered us for a reproach and a curse, and to be subject to payments according to all the iniquities of our father, which departed from Yahuwah our power. Baruch 3:8. We are this day in captivity. So that captivity, even though how horrible and terrible it was, it has an expiration date. But through it all, we had the cloud, brothers and sisters. The cloud. So the cloud represents guidance. As we read in Exodus 40th chapter, when the cloud abode in the wilderness and did not move, they set up camp. And I truly understand the reason why they set up camp, because it was time for them to learn about the surroundings. The Father was teaching them a lesson. So the cloud represents perception and awareness, comprehension and understanding. It also represents success. success and accomplishment, achievement, because they were achieving something when they set up camp. They was learning the interaction between them and the Most High, brothers and sisters. This cloud. Oh, this is good. The cloud, brothers and sisters. And as I forestated, what we read in Psalm 105 and 8, how this is a perpetual covenant, it's never ended. We find that in Genesis, the 9th chapter and the 16th verse, where the Most High set a rainbow in the cloud to Noah as a covenant. Our Heavenly Father is a sovereign one of covenants. And once he make a covenant, he does not break. It's sealed throughout eternity. So the covenant he made with us, it is sealed. It cannot be broken by any man. This covenant is sealed, signed, sealed, and delivered to us through all the prophets and our brother and Messiah, Yahushua, and all the emissaries, the apostles, and everyone who stood up to remind us of the interaction and the power that we have when we are connected to the Most High. So this cloud, it represents cohesion, joined together, housed together with the Most High and his essence. Even though we found ourselves in the lowest state of all humanity, look at us today. Why is it that we finding ourselves climbing and coming out of that cesspool that we were in? This kingdom and all of their teachings and all their religions, Christianity is what we came out of. Not only Christianity, Islam, not only Islam, Hinduism, and all the other Far East religions, Confucianism, Taoism, all of these religious belief systems, Egyptology, they pulled away and extracted from the readings and the narrative of the Most High and what he gave to his covenant people. And in Genesis 9 and 16, it talks about the rainbow that the Most High put in the cloud. Now you have the LGBTQ alphabet community who took that cloud, made the biggest offense, one of the biggest offense known to man. You're going to take this everlasting covenant, this symbol of a covenant, and label it to the activities of the booty love? It was a grim mistake. And grim and horrifying mistakes require grim and horrifying consequences. That was a blatant and shameless act to go against the Most High. And the adversary is laughing his rear end off at y'all for doing that. Now you got to pay for that. You don't mess with the cloud, brothers and sisters. Then you should have listened to the Egyptians. The Egyptians, they ran. They said, the Most High is fighting against us. Let us get out of here. The cloud. I don't want to be like Peter Tosh in the song Down Presser Man. He said, I wouldn't like to be a flea under your collar, man. I wouldn't like to be a flea under your collar, man. I wouldn't like to be a flea under your collar, man. On that day, down, presser man, where you gonna run to? Down, presser man, where you gonna run to? Down, presser man, where you gonna run to? On that day, where you gonna run? Down, presser man. You were shining for years. Now it's time to pay the piper. It's time to pay up. It's time for you to reap the benefits of your actions. And that cloud is a witness. As a matter of fact, in Hebrews 12:1, it says we are compassed about so great a cloud of witnesses. Cloud, way in Hebrews. And as I first stated, Hebrews is a letter written to you and me, brothers and sisters. Look up. Lift up your heads. Our redemption draws nigh each and every year, even in this Gregorian calendar year of 2024. The cloud of witnesses. This thing is serious, brothers and sisters. This cloud is a symbolism of our heritage. Paul said we are compassed about with so great a cloud of witness. Then he said, let us lay aside every weight and sin. Weights from this Neanderthaloid culture. They weights now. At one time, they were beneficial with our walk and our journey and where the Father placed us. But now the Father is leading us on to liberation. We cannot stay back there in Christianity. This is why the essence and all the worshipful ways that they try to concoct up, they are failing because they have disintegrated. They are no longer relevant because we're moving forward, brothers and sisters. Let us lay aside the weight and the sin that so easily beset us. They no longer are helpful. They, according to Paul, say that the weight and sin that so easily beset us. What is he saying? That so easily afflict us. That so easily trouble us. It's time to put it down. Time to lay it aside. And time to move forward as a people with the covenant. We got a job to do. The world got to know, and the world won't know until we stand up boldly, erect, back straight, head up, telling the world about the Father's love and his covenant people and our brother Messiah. All your concocted messiahs, white boy Jesus, the stringy hair, the hippie, all that mess is done. It's over. You got men and women who are willing to stand. Why? Because that cloud of witness. Hear that cloud in the Old Testament now being revealed in the New. Who do you think Paul was talking about when he said cloud of witnesses? All these people, they did their due diligence in their time. And when their time was done, it was passed on. Now it's our time to do our due diligence. Why we are still here. Why we are experiencing this heathenistic Gregorian calendar, the Neanderthaloid calendar of 2024. It's time for us to understand the cloud that was recorded in Luke 21:27. That is the future of events that are underway. Luke 21:27. They say, let me turn to it. I think I should read more than just Luke 21:27. I think I should go up a couple of verses so we can get the gist of what Brother Luke is trying to convey to us and what Luke is recording for us to comprehend. You understand what I'm saying? It's very important for us to know these things. And when you look at Luke 21 and you go to 25, Luke 21:25, it says, and there shall be signs in the sun and the moon and in the stars, and upon the earth distress of nations with perplexity, the sea and the waves roaring, men's hearts failing them for fear and for looking after those things which are coming on the earth. For the powers of the heavens shall be shaken. And then shall they see the Son of Man coming in a cloud with power and great glory. What he coming? He coming in a cloud. He's surrounded and fortified with power and glory. This is a fortification that encircled him, a fortification of power and glory and might. Untouchable. This cloud still being manifested in the so-called New Testament, which is nothing but the renewed writings, because the New Testament is nothing but commentary of what they call the Old Testament. The Old Testament is nothing but the ancient writings by the prophets that was inspired by the Most High. The New Testament are writings that bring commentary to what was inspired in the Old. The Old were writings that came from the Most High. The so-called New Testament are writings that were inspired from the Old Testament scriptures. And here we see this cloud in the renewed writing, even in Acts 1:9, when he told them, you shall receive power. When the Messiah told the Hebrew Israelites, he didn't tell the Gentiles, he didn't tell none of the other nations. The Father covenant is true, and the Messiah had to fulfill this covenant to a T. And he told the disciples, the Hebrew Israelites, you shall receive power. After that, the Holy Spirit has come upon you, and you shall be witness unto me both in Jerusalem, in all Judea, and in Samaria, and unto the uttermost part of the earth. But before they asked that, before he made the statement, they asked him, will you now restore again the kingdom of Israel? He said, it is not for you to know the time and season what the Father put in his power. But this is going to be the thing that you need to understand. You're going to receive power. Then after he gave them this charge, a cloud once again received him out of their sight. This is powerful, brothers and sisters. This cloud that I'm talking about. When you look at Luke, the 21st chapter and the 27th verse, and it talks about, and then shall they see the Son of Man coming in a cloud with power and great glory. What it's really referring to, this cloud, it will form a black hole. See, even today, scientists, they filming it and they showing it on lines, how clouds form black holes. Portals are open through these clouds. And they see objects and entities entering and exiting through this portal, through this black hole, brothers and sisters. All kinds of beings, all kinds of entities are physically revealed through these portals, through these black holes, which are formed by cloud. Brothers and sisters, you got to understand the power of the cloud that's been with us since the covenant that the Father established with us. When you look at Deuteronomy, the 31st chapter and the 15th verse, then Yahweh appeared at the tent in a pillar of cloud, and the cloud stood over the entrance in the tent. And Yahweh said to Moses, you will soon rest with your fathers, and these people will rise up and prostitute themselves with foreign gods. And with foreign gods of the land they are entering, they will forsake me and break the covenant I made with them. You see that? Information was being transmitted through the cloud that was over the tabernacle. And this is why I say information, intelligence, kingdom intelligence from the kingdom throne room, or the throne room where the Most High resides. They can't deal with this cloud. Our enemies can't do nothing with us because we got the cloud, brothers and sisters. They can only cause us to worship their gods, just like Balaam did when Balak asked Balaam, I want you to curse these people. Balaam said, Balak, I can't curse these people, but one thing that we can do, we can cause them to mingle with the whores. You got some fine looking women here, and I'm pretty sure some of them wouldn't mind getting some of that from some of these women. I wouldn't mind getting a few myself. They fine. Mingle with them, and then that will cause them to forsake their Elohim, their Most High Sovereign One, Yahuwah. And that's the same tactic that they do to us today. Long as you serving white boy Jesus and hollering and running around in church, breath stinking, farting, booty stinking, and all that stuff. Long as you continue to do that, you ain't no witness the true power that the Most High has for us. I guarantee you that. You'll just be running around supporting all the preachers and pastors and teachers that's benefiting from your tithes until that expire. And when that expire, and when people truly see they been deceived, you liable to see lynch mobs running these pastors down the street, pissed the hell off because they've been deceived. But you really haven't been deceived. You got people like me and thousands of others that's telling you, that's urging you. But y'all want to listen to us. Y'all want the bright things, just like Joshua told the people, the Pharisees, and all the people about John, Yachanan the Baptist. He said, what did you go to see when you went in the wilderness? Did you go see a reed shaking in the wind? People are still looking for a reed shaking in the wind today. They want to see some generality, some glittering generality to make them feel good. Those glittering generalities in New Year's and sensations. But that stuff is wearing off, can't you see? Don't you know that these things have an expiration date, brothers and sisters? You better recognize this cloud. In Matthew 17:5, the Most High spoke to the disciples and said, this is my beloved son. Hear him. Peter was talking, mouthing off, like he usually did, talking about we need to make a tabernacle, one for you, one for Moses. Then a voice came out of that. You listen. This is my beloved son. Divine intervention. And so you have all of these attributes that's connected with the clouds: protection, preservation, safety, security, power, never-ending covenant, being joined together, enclosed with the realms and accommodations of Yah's eternal power. As it says in Revelation 1:7, behold, he cometh with clouds, and every eye shall see him. People shall mourn, the family of the earth shall mourn because of him. Because the eternal power of the Most High, living Most High Yah, is embedded in those clouds that he come with. The same cloud that led us out throughout our journeys in the wilderness. So the cloud, it arbitrates. The cloud denotes direction, giving directives on what to do. It interrupted the armies, just like it interrupts the armies today. They can't touch us. Then the MC Hammer say, doom, 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 doing Rick James' tune, doom, doom, can't touch this, doom, 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 can't touch this. MC Hammer giving a phrase from Rick James' tune that denotes what the cloud represents. You can't touch this. So the cloud represents safeguards, discernment, awareness, and the commitment with the Most High. You stay committed to the Most High. His cloud is there. Understand and comprehend and be aware with the perception that the Most High has given you. The more you come out of these wicked systems, the more keen your perception will become in the Most High. We talking about the clouds, brothers and sisters. So what you going to do with this information? Are you going to know it? Or are you going to take it into consideration so that the Most High can speak to your spirit and show you the responsibilities that he has given you? The choice is yours. Servant RD, Vermont. Shalom, y'all.